Welcome back to the second video of chapter 13. It is 13.2 triangle measures. I've got three triangles on the board here, and I've got to find out the missing measurements for angles A, angle B, and angle C of these three triangles. Now the first thing you always need to remember is how many degrees are in a triangle?
180 degrees.
Perfect. 180 degrees. That'll be the key. We have to remember 180 degrees are in a triangle. If I notice in my first triangle, I've been given two angle measures of 62 degrees each. So I'm just going to quickly do some math here because I've got two, and I should have 124 degrees for these two angles. Now the easy part is now to take the 124 degrees, subtract it from my 180 degrees, and I should have for angle A 56 degrees. Moving on to my second triangle, it looks a little more interesting. I've only been given one angle of degree. I've got to figure out what B, its degree is, but I've got something special here. Now there's a line of perpendicular, and that shows us that it is
a right angle.
And a right angle would have
90 degrees.
90 degrees. So now that we've done this part, it should be easy. I have 90 degrees. I'm going to add my 23 degrees, and I'm going to end up with 113 degrees for these two angles collectively. Now, to find my third one, I'm going to subtract from 180 degrees. And angle B should be 67 degrees. Moving on to my third one, I see that I have an obtuse triangle, probably a scalene triangle at this point. I see that I've got 18 degrees, 130 degrees, and angle C. Now, that's going to be the hardest part is, I haven't dealt with an obtuse angle, but it's just the same as the other two. I'm going to add the two angles that I know, and I'm going to end up with 148 degrees for my two angles. Now I will subtract from 180, and my angle C should be 32 degrees. Now, this is probably the hardest one that we will have in this section. We will see a couple of these like this. I have a large triangle, but actually I've got two triangles making up a larger triangle. Now my goal is to figure out the degree measurement of angle F. But this is going to be a multi-step problem, so I may use a couple of other colors here to show the steps. The first thing I need to probably look at, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a piece of paper to cover this up so I can focus in on this one triangle. Now it looks isosceles, but it's not really that important at this point. What I need to focus on is I've got 2 degrees that are already given to me, but I'm missing a third one down here. My 70 degrees and my 60 degrees should give me 130 degrees total. I now need to find my third one because all triangles have
180 degrees.
Perfect. So I have 180 degrees minus my 130 degrees should yield me 50 degrees for this angle. Now I'm going to go on to part 2. Now that I know this is 50 degrees, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to mark it as 50 degrees. Now I'm going to use my piece of paper again to kind of mark off what I'm going to focus on next. Going back to chapter 12, I see that I have a straight line. but I have an angle of 50 degrees and I have a missing angle on the opposite side. And if we remember from chapter 12, a straight line has
180 degrees.
180 degrees. So now, for my part 2, I will have 180 degrees minus my 50 degrees should yield me 130 degrees right here. So now, if you look at the whole triangle, I'm getting closer to the end. I now know that this right here, I'm going to rewrite this in a new color. If I can, well, it'll just be highlighted. 130 degrees. Are you getting that?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now it's turned purple.
That's nice.
130 degrees. I'm going to use my paper one last time to take a look that I've got this triangle. I've got 130 degrees. I've got a 30 degree, but now I've got to find angle F. Triangles always have
180 degrees.
180 degrees. I do have 2 of these, so 130 degrees plus another 30 degrees makes it 160 degrees. So I'm going to subtract my 160 degrees that I already have from 180, and I'm left with 20 degrees for angle F.